If I could sum up Monday Night Raw in one word, it would be
Delete! 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 Delete!
that's exactly what I would like to do. I would like to delete every single person that works in the creative department for Monday Night Raw. Last night's Raw is further proof that they just are absolutely clueless. And at the risk of sounding like a broken record, and I come on here every single week and we talk about it over and over again, they are directionless and they are in panic mode for some reason, as if they've never been through the fall before, where it is traditionally noted that the ratings take a hit. You got Monday Night Football going on every Monday in direct head-to-head competition, and it's always going to cut into the Raw audience, always. We're also in an election year where we have some election stuff going on. That's gonna take a hit. We have the Major League Baseball playoffs coming up. That's going to take some of the audience's attention away, especially with the filth that you are putting before us. Now, let's not get too far off into the negative zone to start this thing, but, the action during the night of what we were allowed to see wasn't all bad. It's not a 100% negative show this time, but these morons in creative, they are just clueless. Why have they've essentially done the same thing twice when it comes to the Raw Women's Championship and Sasha Banks and Charlotte? Sasha Banks should have won her first Women's Championship at SummerSlam from Charlotte, but instead they jumped the gun, jumped the shark, as Kevin Owens would say. We'll get to more on that later. And they gave it to her 2 weeks out before SummerSlam, only to have her drop the title back to Charlotte. It was nonsensical. It was illogical. It didn't make sense. So let's revisit that as creative. Let's see what did we do? What did we do wrong here? Let's see. We gave away a prime pay-per-view match on Monday Night Raw. That's what we did. All right, that was the wrong thing to do. So I think we should try it again. We'll do it the same exact way and see, maybe this time the fans will, maybe they'll get it this time. No, moron. No. This was the exact same scenario. Think about the upcoming pay-per-view, Hell in a Cell. You need to feature the women's title in a main event match. You are 2 weeks out where you could continue to build story, as we like to talk about here, but that's not what we did. You know what we did? We gave away the main event for the women at Raw because we're afraid of the ratings dip. It's stupid. It's stupid. Hell in a Cell is going to be held in Sasha Banks' hometown of Boston, Massachusetts. We couldn't wait 2 weeks to pull the trigger on this. We couldn't have found a way to build and make it seem bigger and more exciting. No, we're just going to give it to everybody on Raw again. We're going to make Sasha Banks win on Raw again to what? To like okay, Sasha won again. Big deal. We don't care. And Sasha Banks winning the title back from Charlotte and having me not care about it is a travesty. It's a travesty. You have done the same mistake twice within a 3-month time period, and it's obvious that they're not learning. They are not learning from these mistakes that they're making if they're just doing it over and over again. Second case in point, as far as the constant repetitive mistakes, we open the show with Roman Reigns and Rusev again. Roman Reigns and Rusev brawling at the beginning after some jib jab back and forth. Who cares what either one of these guys have to say? Roman comes out, starts talking about his heritage and the U.S. title to a chorus of boos as usual. Then Lana comes out. The crowd's thanking Lana for stopping Roman Reigns from talking. It's the only reason why I could see them even thanking her. And then, of course, he insults them, talks about Rusev's Bulgarian balls. Do we need to hear this? No. And in the end, what happens? What we all know is going to happen. Rusev is going to come out. They're going to brawl all over the arena again. Roman gets him at the top of the ramp with a Superman punch and tells the world that we're going to have a very unneeded Hell in a Cell match for the United States Championship at the pay-per-view of the same name, Hell in a Cell, coming up in 2 weeks, presented to us by Raw, who are doing a terrible job of making me care about this wrestling show, about what you're perceiving to be main event people. Why in God's name would you put these two guys in a Hell in a Cell? We don't want to see them wrestle anymore at all. You already botched this. Again, you're booking this whole thing backwards. The end of this feud happened like 3 weeks ago. And the beginning of this feud still hasn't happened. There has not been a proper beginning. There's been no middle. And it's just been constant blow-off match after blow-off match. And they won't blow it off. It's like, all right, every time we will make them think that this is the last time that they're going to see Roman Reigns and Rusev. But no, we're WWE Creative. We got nothing else in the tank, so we're just going to keep putting this match on, and we'll just add stipulation like Hell in a Cell. That sounds like fun. Maybe they'll care. No, we won't. We won't care about this match. Why won't we care? Because Hell in a Cell is an epic confrontation. It is supposed to be the battleground of the immortal. We do not have these guys anymore. There are not two people on the roster that I would even want to see in Hell in a Cell at all. Because this type of match is reserved for the likes of The Undertaker, Triple H, Mick Foley, Edge. These are the guys that made Hell in a Cell have the legacy that it has. They made it what it's supposed to be. And what it's not supposed to be is a yearly event. What it's supposed to be is a match that you have in your back pocket to pull out when a feud finally gets out of control. And I see that that's what they're kind of probably doing. But this is the wrong level to do it. You don't give Hell in a Cell to a mid-card match. You give it to the main event of the night. And if this show ends up being the main event only because it's surrounded by this steel cage, Hell in a Cell, it's going to make the entire pay-per-view worthless. If you put Roman Reigns and the United States Championship above the Universal Championship and Kevin Owens, you are truly an ass. And you have absolutely no idea what you're doing as far as booking a wrestling show. Raw, again, is further proof of this. We opened with Reigns and Rusev, boring the shit out of me.
Boring.
I hated every single minute of this, and it was absolutely worthless to me. I could care less if these two guys go out there and kill each other in that cage. Would not impress me at all. I'm done with Roman Reigns and Rusev as a feud. If they dare even put them as a team, would be just a mindfuck beyond all belief. I've heard rumors of that possibly happening somewhere down the line. That is probably a dead rumor. I don't trust most of these websites I see the stuff on, and there are only a few sources that I will really, stake my claim in and put the flag out and be like, all right, this guy said this is going to happen. These are just like wild out there rumors. I'm a member of the wrestling app Wrestling Amino, which do not deserve to be plugged on a show that, I'm getting no sponsorship for. But just so you know, I go on there and I see a lot of these really out there things, and I will not be reporting on most of them. It was just something that it's in the back of my head, and I had to address it here. If you ever see that, it would just be complete and utter trash, and there would be no coming back from something like that. It might actually make me stop watching Raw altogether, because it's doing nothing but proving that these guys are steering a rudderless ship and just letting the waves take them around, and they have no idea what the hell they're doing over there. They come back to us with the cruiserweight match after this. We're not really going to go in order. I have my notes all sitting here right in front of me, but I'm not going to be this traditional guy that's going to come out here and just go match for match and tell you what happened, hold for hold. It's boring that way. We're going to talk about the essence of Raw. We're going to talk about what I wanted to see as opposed to what we are seeing. And what we could also talk about in this case specifically is what we were promised to see and what we were given. Unless I was extremely high last week, which is a very honest possibility. While I was watching Raw, they announced that there was going to be a Cruiserweight title match between TJ Perkins and Brian Kendrick, but what we got is just a standard Cruiserweight match. No real explanation on the show. We have these jerk-offs on the announce table talking about how, oh, well, with his performance tonight, Brian Kendrick surely earned himself a title match. This was supposed to be a title match. What do you mean, earn? He's the only one you're pushing towards it. He's the only one that's been in the ring with TJ Perkins. What do you mean, earn? What does he have to prove to earn anything? Just because he lost, he's got a rematch clause. This was supposed to be it, wasn't it? What are they doing? Is Brian Kendrick going to end up winning the title? They made this match go for about 9 minutes with a 3-minute commercial interruption. And from what I've seen, they made TJ Perkins look horrible. The booking of this match, the agents on this match, by allowing Brian Kendrick to get a clean tap out, you made this guy quit. You made the champion quit in the middle of the ring. Champions don't quit. No matter if you're the Cruiserweight or anything, you're not supposed to quit. It would have been better if he passed out Stone Cold style. Like, oh my God. Or, you know, Brian Kendrick is the heel here, and he should have cheated to win. We've been saying this with Charlotte. We've been saying this with all the heels, that they are not using correctly. It is not coming off right. And now you had Brian Kendrick, clean win, submission over the champion. You made TJ Perkins look like a $2 trash bag whore. Why did you do that? It makes absolutely no sense.
Nope.
It just is beyond belief to me that you would build this Cruiserweight division and you would build it around this guy. Out of everybody you had, he wasn't the best choice, in my opinion, to run with it. But again, Kota Ibushi wasn't signing, and I believe he was supposed to win when they booked this thing to start, and then he didn't ink his name to the deal, so they pulled the trigger on this guy. And what are you doing to him? You're making him look like a schmuck. He looks like a complete and total schnook out there. And now you made him tap out. He's not imposing. He's not scary. He doesn't come off as overly talented that you want to really see TJ Perkins to begin with. And now you made him tap out to the more dramatic, more charismatic, more appealing heel Brian Kendrick. You're confusing everybody. You're confusing me. I don't know what you're doing. And it's clear that you don't know what you're doing either, WWE Creative. I also want to talk about Sheamus and Cesaro. This duo thing has already gotten too old. The fact that we saw them 3 times tonight is 3 times too many. They're bickering like a couple of little girls in the schoolyard fighting over a jump rope. Oh, you threw my bags. Oh, no, I'm throwing your bags. Get out of here. Get out of here with this. This is a tag team that has been forced upon each other, and they're playing it like an old married couple that don't get along anymore, and it's retarded. It makes me want to go to sleep. It makes me not give a damn about either one of these guys. And Sheamus, from the day he debuted, I knew he had potential, and they have failed at every turn with a guy like Sheamus. He had one run that was semi-good at the very beginning of his career. He came out and he had this gimmick of being this badass that he still tries to portray, but it came off better back then. And now we've seen you lose so many times that you're not a badass. And you don't impose on people your strength and your brutality and this brogue warrior that you are. It doesn't come off. And I could care less if I ever see you on Monday Night Raw. And Cesaro is a guy I've always been high on, and you're wasting him by doing this. You made us sit through these 7 matches only to team them up, and now they're fighting nobodies. You're making them fight frickin' Frack, Jackass. Who cares? Nobody knows who they are. Nobody's going to see them again. And it's a waste of both of these guys. You got 3 hours you're trying to throw at me, and you're cramming so much filler and so much nonsense in. I just I just can't deal with it. The show makes me so angry that I don't even have the tolerance for something like the Susan G. Komen stuff. And if this makes me come off as a little insensitive, let me apologize in advance. But I watch wrestling to get away from reality and the real problems that we all face every day. And there are a lot of people like me who are, looking forward to Monday Night Raw as a form of escapism, as a way to forget the everyday. And that situation is the everyday for a lot of your fans. And I don't think that it's appreciated by that section of the audience. It's not appreciated by me. I am taking nothing away from these girls. Fantastic, and hats off to them, and God bless them for overcoming what takes out maybe 80% of the people that contract some form of cancer. But not everybody does, and a lot of us have lost people to that, and we don't want to see the people that are fighting past it, because who we lost couldn't fight past it. So, I mean, as I said, insensitive, maybe. I don't mean it to be that way. My personal feeling is I don't want to be confronted with other people's problems when I'm trying to watch an entertaining program, something that's supposed to make me feel happy and bring out joy, and all you're doing is downing me. Aside from the fact that you put Cass and Enzo in there to be amusing with it, and then you give them all replica titles, like, it just... I'm just watching this like, come on, really? I have to watch this? I don't know. Anyway, my point being that I just want to see wrestling. I don't need to see all the special interest stuff, whether it's Susan G. Komen or Be a Star or whatever campaign they're pushing this month, Connor's Cure. I'm not against any of these things. In fact, I intend to support Connor's Cure in a big way when I get the documentary going. I hope to give some of the proceeds towards it and, maybe use that as a platform for us to cross-brand with the WWE when we get to that point. And I'm all for it. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm hating on any of it. It's just there's a time and a place for this stuff, and maybe that's where, on WWE.com exclusive comes in. Why don't you give us like a snippet of that? And if you want to see more and you're interested in this kind of thing and you want to learn more about these ladies, go to the WWE.com online, or even give them a section on the network. Feature it on the network in a spot where you can go and watch it if that's what you want to do. There's awareness, and then there's shoving it in your face and down your throat. And I'm not against the awareness and the pink ring and all that stuff. It's just the overabundance of it, and it seems like every single month now there's some kind of something that we need to be caring about, and all I want to care about is wrestling. And if that makes me selfish and insensitive, then so be it. Call me an asshole, call me a goon, call me a dickhead, call me whatever you want. That's how I feel, and I am entitled to my feelings, as I tell you all the time. But this is part of the problem with Raw. It's just a further downer. You're giving us these matches that are not making sense. You're making people win that shouldn't be winning at this moment. You're not building storylines. You're giving us more randomness. The one positive of the whole entire night is that we barely saw any of the Authority. We saw no Stephanie McMahon from what I'm remembering, and we saw Mick Foley for a blip. But everything else, again, it just seems like a thrown together, last minute mishmash show. Nothing of real importance. The greatest part of the whole entire show was the Jericho Owens New Day interaction. Some of the funniest shit you will ever see. If you didn't see it, go back. It's well worth your time. These guys were on the ball. This is what WWE comedy is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be this garbage they gave us with Gallows and Anderson. This is four highly charismatic, highly intelligent, highly talented guys. I'm sorry, 5. This is 3 and 2. Just going at it on the mic, riffing back and forth off of each other, doing some fantastic things on the mic. Kevin Owens at one point referring to them, the New Day, saying, you guys like to jump the shark. And for those who don't know what that phrase means, It means like I said before, like jumping the gun. It's another way to say you pull the trigger on a idea too soon, or something like that. And then, you know, Xavier Woods would go on to tell Kevin Owens, "Hey, when was the last time you jumped over anything, pal?" And Kevin Owens then goes on to make Chris Jericho put Xavier Woods on the list of Jericho for the second time. Obviously, every time the New Day spoke towards Jericho and Owens, Jericho put each one at a time on his list, and Xavier Woods earned it twice with his little insult there on Kevin Owens. I mean, the whole segment just almost brought me to tears. I was laughing through the whole thing, which led them to the match, which wasn't a title match, which I was upset about. I thought they were going to actually allow them to contend for the titles. But in that match, Kevin Owens made it a point to, as Xavier Woods was laying on the floor, to jump over him several times and would scream, "All right, you see, I could jump over you." If the whole entire thing, they are what the show is for. This is what wrestling is all about. This is more of the stuff they got to try to do, but they're not doing these kind of things. They're just not. They're writing garbage, and they're forcing these guys to read what they've written and try to put it out there as how they feel, and it's not coming off genuine at all. And you can clearly see the difference when you have professionals out there like the New Day and Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens, who can hold their own with the best of the best on the stick, and made the whole show much, much better just by their presence alone. It was the one part of the night where I was fully invested in Monday Night Raw. I was fully entertained, and it was completely worth my time, and it didn't make the rest of the show worth it. There's nothing even else on the show that I want to talk about. We opened up talking about Sasha Banks and Charlotte. I don't even want to go back to it. I'm so disgusted by it. You ruined this girl's moment. Again, you could have had her win the title in her hometown 2 weeks from now with tremendous amount of build. Keep Charlotte at an arm's distance. Do the contract signings. Do the whole thing right. And then you would have had this epic moment at Hell in a Cell for Sasha Banks. It would have made more sense. Having it on Raw just to pop a rating because you guys are in panic mode is an epic failure. You made the women's division look like garbage. They're just throwing the titles back and forth to each other. What are you going to do next? What are you going to do to follow this up at Hell in a Cell? You're going to have them have Charlotte's rematch again? I'm going to have to watch them. Are you going to force Bayley in there again? Because that would be the wrong move too. Are you going to make Bayley fight Sasha Banks? Or when WrestleMania is where that should be happening? Are you going to jump the shark? Are you pulling the trigger on all this shit in panic mode? What are you going to give to us later on? Huh? You cannot take any more people from NXT because they're flailing as it is. They're only now starting to get their legs back. They got the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic coming up starting this week. And it's going to gain traction and it's going to pick back up and they're going to establish their new stars right now. They got some stuff down there going on, but, they kind of lost everybody. There was a mass exodus from NXT, and now they're all sitting up here on the main roster, and nobody's doing nothing. Nobody's doing nothing worth watching. You're ruining the women on both sides of the coin. You barely have a division on either show, and what are we getting? We didn't even see Nia Jax at all last night. Nia Jax is the one right now that should be fighting for the women's title. And probably winning. And she should be dominating until WrestleMania. Or until at least the Royal Rumble, where Bayley wins the title. And then you have Sasha Banks come out of nowhere and build that up leading into WrestleMania. Sasha's jealous that Bayley has her title. Sasha's angry because she lost the title to her before. I could write it all right now if you want me to. It would be much better than what it looks like we're gearing up to get. However, their match was very good. It wasn't a botch fest as usual. Charlotte, extremely impressive corkscrew moonsault to the outside, which when they showed it in slow motion was absolutely beautiful, man. Her body movement, even just the way her hair was twirling in the slow-mo, it was wrestling perfection. She really is genetically gifted. She can do so much in the ring, and yet that kind of a spot was very unnecessary, although absolutely Well done, beautifully executed. I would have tried to talk her out of it if I was the agent because it really wasn't needed, but man, what a sight, man. She really rocked it with that one. Totally took my breath away, made me scared and excited, and oh my god, all in one moment. You know that feeling as a wrestling fan. You know it. You know what I'm talking about. I got that feeling in my gut when she jumped off the top rope and did that. And you know what? That's going to be our Raw review for this week. If you didn't like it, let me know. If you want me to do the match thing one by one, let you know, because I know you guys watched it, so what do I got to go through the whole thing and call it like I'm calling the whole entire show for you? Let's just be here together, and in general, let's discuss the feeling of the show, and the feeling of the show, once again, is failure. It was a show of failure. They are giving us everything too soon, or they're giving us garbage, complete garbage, which makes absolutely no sense to me. I don't know what the direction of Monday Night Raw is going to be. Seth Rollins, and Kevin Owens going to be at Hell in a Cell. That should have been the Hell in a Cell match, if you ask me. I don't know if they're going to do more than one, but that, again, is unnecessary. Like, this whole pay-per-view is unnecessary. Why they couldn't have made it Halloween Havoc is beyond me. Halloween Havoc was my favorite themed pay-per-view from WCW. They own the rights to it. It's October. You could have done a million things. You could have did War Games. You could have pulled out Starcade. You could have done Fall Brawl. You could have done World War III. You could have pulled any of these properties out of retirement and replaced them with this Hell in a Cell that's coming up. You could have made the Hell in a Cell match happen at Halloween Havoc. If it was that important to you, it would have made it seem more special instead of this yearly garbage pay-per-view, which every year is just the same thing over and over. Just two randoms in the cage, and it doesn't make it seem special anymore when the Hell in a Cell should be a special, almost once-in-a-lifetime type of event reserved for the upper echelon talent of the company that know how and can perform at a level that is required for a Hell in a Cell. Thank you guys for tuning into the channel. If you have not checked out our new show, What Should Have Happened, please go back and do that. It is where I call fantasy matchups generated by WWE 2K16. Leading up to the release of 2K17, I decided we're going to do some matches. I'm going to do the commentary for you. And on some upcoming matches, we're going to have some more. Obviously, we're going to do some more special commentary. I got a lot of great stuff coming at you guys sometime in the near future. We got the t-shirts in. Like I said, when the video comes up, I'm going to show you that bad boy. If you've seen the new logo, that's pretty much what you're going to get on the t-shirt. And I will let you know how you can get your hands on one of those. We got membership cards. We got all kinds of stuff, man. All you got to do is subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, interact with me, leave a comment here on YouTube. Don't be shy. Let me know what matches you would like to see. Some kind of fantasy matchups you know that you'll never see in real life that you'd like to see, and have Nick Nightmare do the exclusive commentary. Go back and watch my Finn Balor versus The Undertaker, What Should Have Happened, Episode 1 exclusively on YouTube. Don't forget to check out the SmackDown review tomorrow. We have the Nightmare Room running a little late this week, but we got a good show coming. It may be a little longer than usual. We got a lot of stuff to go over, and we're going to talk more about that then. I am Nick Nightmare, sitting here with you and my boy Blue, the Snowball Microphone. I love you guys. Thank you for joining me. Don't be afraid to come back. Tell your friends. Let's grow together, and we can become an everlasting force in sports entertainment. Have a good one.